Good afternoon, guys. Can you hear my voice?
Good afternoon, sir.
Let me share my screen. And, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Shall we just wait 2 minutes? Just 20 people are there. Just wait others to join. Okay, so let us start B-tree class. In the previous class, we started discussing B-trees. Uh, we understood that B-tree is a M-way search tree. Binary search tree is a two-way search tree. Either if you want to search an element, you will compare with the root. If it is the searching element is less than the root, you will go only left side. You will not go towards the right side because logically, the element which is greater than the root, you'll be not able to find on the right side, but on the left side, right? So likewise, you do the other ways. If the element key searching element is greater than the root, you'll search only on the right side. You'll ignore the left half. So in that way, we can efficiently search. And if the height is balanced, you can you can do the search in log n times. That is the height of the tree. But extending binary search tree with height balanced tree in M way, we can call that as a B tree. B tree is a balanced search tree with more than two children are possible. So we try to understand that some rules, the properties of B tree, and we try to understand with an example, and we try to study how we can construct a B tree for the given elements, right? So given this list of elements, we try to construct the B tree, and so likewise, when a new element is coming, we can insert at appropriate place where you are inserting. Based on that, one can have many ways of B trees. This order of three, when a B tree is called order of three, we can call that as a 2-3-3 because in 2-3 tree, maximum elements you can store is two elements with three pointers. Okay, so that's why it's called 2-3 trees, which is very famous and used in many applications. But you can have way. You can have not necessarily three. If your order is 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth, you can uh, have those many possibilities. Okay, and we try to understand how we can search an element, how we can insert an element, that we try to study. This is another example. Suppose 78 is initially of order 3, then 52 will come, you'll compare, you will insert at the left, next 81 will come, this node will burst, 78 will become the root node, 52 will become the left child, 81 will become the right child, inserting of 40, So you'll compare with the root node 40 because of order 3. It will go to the left side and you will insert 40 first, then 52 in this fashion. Then inserting 33 will come. This 33 again, this node will burst. 40 will become the root node, and 33 52 will become the left child and right child. When 40 becomes a root node, it will search is there a space in the parent node. There is a space because it's an order of 3. So the node formation will be done like this, as I'm pointing the laser pointer. Next node, when it comes 90, then again 90 will go to the right side, and after 81 this node will be inserted. After 85 will come, then again this node will split. 85 will become the root node. 81 90 will become the left child and right child. Okay, like this. Then after inserting 20, 20 will keep searching, I mean, like when it comes like this, this 85 will go and try to insert here. Again this node will split. 78 become the root node, 40 will become its left child, 85 will become the right child. So the tree formation is done like this. So after inserting 20, it will insert the leftmost node of the bottom. So 20 33, next 38 again it will try to insert here because 38 is less than 40. 33 will become its root node. So the tree formation will be done like this. I hope this is making sense how we are constructing the B tree of order 3. If it is order 4, then appropriately we will insert the elements. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Anyone has doubts up to this point?
No, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead. So we try to understand how we can search an element by comparing. We discussed deletion will be discussing in today's class. Let us try to understand the deletion, how we can delete an element in a B tree. So if you would have studied a slide in binary search tree, there also the deletion is little bit complicated. Insertion, searching will be very easy, but deleting will create a little bit difficult because the properties what we are holding, like the element should be always less than the root, should be on the left side, greater than the root element should be on the right side. Those properties if you have to keep, then when you're deleting an element, those properties may get disturbed. So in order to restore the original properties of a binary search tree, we have to consider few cases. That's what we discussed in binary search tree, like predecessor, successor. Deleting a leaf node is not a problem, but deleting an intermediate node, you have to replace appropriately. I hope you studied that. If not, please go through it and study it. If you have any doubts, you ask in the next class. We will discuss that. So likewise, how the deletion is little bit complicated in binary search tree, it is also the same case in B tree also, because deleting an element may change or disturb the uh, order in which the B tree is constructed. Then if that is the case, then we have to restore the original properties of B tree. So there are few cases. Deletion a key value from the leaf node. In this again, there are two cases. If the key value leads to the number of keys greater than m by 2 minus 1, removal of key leads to the number of keys less than m by 2 minus 1, deletion of a key from non-leaf node. These are the three possible cases. If it is a leaf node, then the order will change. Then we have to do it in one way. If the order is changing greater than the number of keys, less than the number of keys, based on that we have to consider. If it is a non-leaf node, we have to apply some methods. Okay, let us discuss that. Suppose deleting an element, which is case 1.1, which is this one, like removal of a key leads to number of keys which is greater than m by 2, which means that deleting a leaf node or removal a key from the values will not disturb the B tree, which is the minimum requirement number of key values in the node. For example, this is the tree of order, this is the order of 4, because each node, you can observe this, you can store 4 elements. Okay, I mean 3 elements and 4 pointers, right? So this is an B tree of order 4. So deleting L will not disturb the order. So M and N can be kept as same. Deleting T, S and U can be kept as same. Deleting Y will not get disturbed. So deletion of leaf node, this is a leaf node, deletion of a leaf node, but the number of keys is greater than half of the keys. See here the order is this is order of 4 and greater than or equal to m by 2 minus 1 keys. So deleting one element will have still two more keys. So the order is not disturbed. In that case, you don't do anything. Okay, minimum number of order. Okay, this is case 1. The other case is when nearest right siblings contain more than m by 2 minus 1 keys, which means, so suppose if I'm deleting h, uh, then we need to make some operations. One element, if it is there, deletion of the key nodes results in less than m by 2 minus 1, but either its right or left siblings possess more than m by 2 minus 1 key values. If this is the case, then we have to bring some order into the tree. One node, the left node cannot contain 3 nodes. The node which is deleting cannot contain one node. So we'll bring a balance in this tree by 2, by equal into the 2. For example, here the h is deleted, I will be left alone. If in this node you have 3 values, here you have 2 values and 2 values. So we have to bring some order. So what we will do is we will move right. This last node of the previous sibling, F node, we will move to the root node first. Then we will try to insert what is the appropriate position. So F will move to the root node. G will be inserted as a child node. Okay. So now the order is balanced. Now deleting H will create some imbalance in the leaf node. So what we are doing is we are deleting the nearest left sibling, one node we are moving it to the right root node, and root node we are bringing it to the child. So this will bring some balance in the tree. Likewise, if you see here deleting S, here deleting S again, here you have 3 nodes, you have only here 2 nodes. Again this will create some imbalance. Deleting S, again we will move W to the root, then V to the this child node. Like how we do the left rotation, right rotation, we will try to do the same because of the B tree properties that we discussed in the first slide. These are the B tree properties. So all the key values in the left subtree should be less than the key values k plus 1. All the key values in the subtree pointed by Pn should be greater than Kn. All the subtrees pointed by Pi are also MVS such trees. Because of these properties, we have to bring some balance in the leaf nodes. So that's why we are trying to do all these rotations. Okay. Does this make sense? Guys, you want me to repeat it?
Yes, sir. Repeat it, please.
Okay. See, this is the original tree we have. Okay, assume that B, the picture B is the original tree. Okay, now when we are deleting an element, then the order should be not disturbed, then there is no problem, we can continue with deletion. But deleting H will create some imbalance because the sibling nodes or the parent node having 3 children, but the child node has only 1 children. The child node has only 1 node, that is creating some imbalance. When this is creating some imbalance, we will equally distribute, we will try to equally distribute the nodes among all the child nodes. So if that is the case, when deleting H, I node will be left alone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, but the left node is having, the left sibling is having 3 values, but the rest of the values are having 2 values. So we are trying to bring some balance. If H value is deleted, it is creating some imbalance. The nearest right sibling contains more than m by 2 minus 1 values. This is what we discussed, right? Removal of a key leads to the number of keys greater than m by 2 minus 1. If this is the case, then what we will do is we will we removed H, deletion of H, we removed H, but I will be left alone. In that case, you consider the left sibling rightmost node, right, the nearest left sibling, the rightmost node. You will push that value to parent. The parent, appropriate parent, will be moved to child node. This is, we call that as a right rotation in order to bring some balance. Each child should contain only the minimum number of order of elements. Okay. Now, when F is deleted, it will become root node. G will become its child node. If this is the order, then the B tree properties is kept without any disturbance, because if you are searching for G, you'll start from here O, you will start comparing with F. F is greater than G, so you'll take right, you will reach at the appropriate place. Likewise, when an element is deleted, that is creating some imbalance, because the right child having 3 nodes and this node having 1 node, you can move W to root and V to the right, V into the replacing the value, the position of S. Okay. Likewise, we are doing a left rotation. Here we are doing the right rotation, we are doing the left rotation. Now the tree is balanced with equal number of order pairs in the children.
Yes.
Okay. This happens only if it is the right sibling or the left sibling has greater than, deletion of a node will become, the left child or right child will be greater than m by 2, more than m by 2 minus 1 key values. If this is the case, we have to do this way of ordering, bringing the order into this B tree. Whereas if deletion of the key values whose neither left or not right sibling has more than m by 2 key values, then what we will try to do is, suppose deletion of E, it's, we are removing here, then what we will do is we will bring again, this is order of 4, we will bring E value to, when we are removing this, when it doesn't become, we can club A, F, G, I all into one node. We are making all nodes into one node. Okay. We will combine the right sibling into its parent root node. This is creating some confusion, right?
सर दोनों नोट्स को कंबाइन कैसे कर दिया?
Yeah, we'll get to that part. See, you are deleting E. Let us say that we want to delete E. Okay, this deletion of E with parent node and the immediate right sibling, D, F is the parent node. If you want to come here, it is in between C and F. This node is attached to C and F, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the immediate right sibling node GI, you will club DF GI. That's what it's happening here by removing F from the root node. Now F will become again the child node. Likewise here, when you're removing Z value, you are combining UVWX. You are combining into one value UVWX. You are combining again here. Then you have to combine these values also into CKOR into one node after deleting the Z. So we are recompressing this tree into like insertion of Z. Originally the tree is like this. When you are inserting Z, this tree got splitted into two parts. Then the root node came here, and then this root node again splitted into two parts. That's how the B tree is constructed. We are trying to do in a reverse way. Okay, I repeat it. Suppose this is the original tree. Assume that this is the original tree. Now what will happen when you insert Z? When Z is inserted, what will happen? This node will break. Assume that it is order of 4, and inserting Z, Z is greater than R, it will come to this node. This node is having 4 values, so this node will break. How this node will break? So WX VU is there, XZ is coming, so W will become its root node.
Yes,
Correct.
sir. Yes,
W
sir.
will become its root node. UV is there, VU is there, X, Z is coming. Those will be your, so middle node you will make it as root node. W will go into the root node. So when W goes into the root node, again this node will break. When this node will break, again O will become the root node, correct? When O becomes its root node, this will break like this. O, CK will become its left child, or W will become its right child, like this. Is this correct? Originally the tree is like this. By inserting Z, the tree becomes like this. So when I'm deleting a Z value, we can bring the order into the original stage likewise. Okay, that's the tricky part. You have to pay attention. It depends on deletion of the key values of the node. It depends on these two cases. Removal of a key value leads to number of keys greater than or equal to m minus 2 by 1, or removal of the key values leads to keys less than m by 2 minus 1. Depends on this case, we have to construct the key. We have to construct the B tree again. So this is the first case, case 1.1. Case 1.1, it is the simplest case of deletion because in this case L and Ty are removed. We have seen that deletion takes place by removing the key value from the node, then simply shifting. M and N are shifted to L, M is shifted to L place, N is shifted to M place. Likewise, here U is shifted to T's place, Z is shifted to Y's place. Simply deletion, shifting the key values towards the left within the node is what happens, is a simple deletion. Okay. Case 1.2 is bit difficult. Case 1. Yeah, case 1.2 is there is one more case. That's what the confusion is happening. Okay, if it is the sibling right more than deletion of a key is removal of a key leads to the keys more than m by 2 minus 1, then in that case we have three options. The nearest right sibling contain more than m by 2 minus 1 values, or the nearest left sibling contain more than m by 2 minus 1 values. Neither the nearest nor the right sibling contain more than m by 2 minus 1 values. So you can in this case, let me rephrase this. This can help you little bit. If this is the case, I will. In this case, you can do three cases. Nearest right sibling contains more than m by 2 minus 1 values. This is one case. The second case is the same value but nearest left sibling. Instead of right, we do the left sibling. If the keys are less than m by 2 minus 1, by deleting one node, in this case, the keys are less than m by 2 minus 1, we will search for the nearest left sibling is more than m by 2 minus 1. Then we move this this right rotation we will do. F will go to the root node, G will become the child node. Okay, so this is the second case. Left sibling, the nearest left sibling contain more than m by 2 minus 1 values. In this case, left sibling has more than m by 2 minus 1 values. In this case, right child contain more than m by 2 m by 2 minus 1 values. This is the first case. Okay, nearest right sibling contain more than m by 2 minus 1 values. Yes, by deleting yes, wxyz has more than m by 2 minus 1 values, then we do the left shift. We will bring again order w to the root node, v to the child node. We will make into proper order. Either its right sibling or left sibling more than possess more than m by 2 minus 1 values. But the total keys are less than m by 2 minus 1. Okay, the total keys are less than m by 2 minus 1, but the nearest sibling or right sibling or left sibling when it contains, we will do the shift operations. There is a third case. If neither the nearest right sibling or left sibling contains more than m by 2 minus 1 values. So if both of them has no values, then this is the third case. When third case happens, when we are removing a value here, e, neither left nor right will contain more than m by 2 minus 1 values, then we are clubbing into the root. We have to club the root d, f, g, I. Here also, when your next value, when we are removing z, if neither left sibling nor right sibling has more than m by 2 minus 1 values, then we have to club u, v, w, x as one node. Is that make sense now?
Yes, sir.
If you don't do this, then when an element is inserted, then you cannot reconstruct the tree won't come like this to the original how the tree is breaking when we are inserting a node. We are trying to do the reverse process by considering these three cases. So 1.1 is very easy. You just ignore by deleting the leaf node. The order is not changing. The left node or the right node is not greater than m by 2 minus 1 values. But case 1.2, when it becomes less than, you see that nearest right sibling contains more than m values. So this is the case. The nearest right sibling contains more than m by 2 1 values, because this is only one node, but this is contain 3 nodes. In that case, you do one left rotation, push W to root node, V to the child node. This is one possibility. And when the nearest sibling contains more than or less than, then left sibling, this is what we did. If left, by deleting the value of h, you will contain only one node here and 3 nodes here. In that case, you push one right rotation, the last node f will become the root node, g you push into the child node, you bring some order into this value. Okay. And the third case is neither the nearest right sibling or left sibling contains more than n by 2 1 minus 1 values. Then we will combine. This is what happened when deleting this node is not less than m by 2 minus 1. Then we will combine df gi. Likewise, deleting z is not creating m by 2 minus 1 values. Then we will combine and we will make a tree like this. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the third case, the last case, is deleting a non-leaf node. The second part is deleting a value from a non-leaf node. How it happens? This is case 1.2. This is case 2. Okay, deleting an element to a B tree from case to deleting a non-leaf node. Suppose you are deleting R in this node, then you have to check when deletion happens from a non-leaf node, then simply we can determine that pointer value should not be null. We can determine the smallest value in the left subchild. In the subtree pi, it can be verified by the always the leftmost node in the subtree. Then that node will be replaced here. Okay. So when R is deleted, the node, the when a node is deleted, the right subtree leftmost value will be replaced by that value. So deleting R will be replaced by the leftmost node S. S will become the parent node. Now the tree is balanced. Likewise, you see here, if G is deleted, the right child leftmost node will be replaced by its value. Okay. So H, just a minute. Here it's bit creating tricky. Now deleting an R value, then you will replace with the smallest node in the right subtree of the leftmost node you will replace. So when you're deleting a value G, suppose here G is deleted, then what will happen? So we are replacing the rightmost value with this node. K will be replaced by H, and L is removed here and inserted with the parent node. And what will happen here? Now this node will become C. H will be replaced, will be pushed to the parent node. K will be pushed into the child node. L will be pushed to the parent node. Is that correct? CHL. So you are bringing the order. In order to bring the order here, when you are deleting G, this node will be replaced with 3 steps. Okay, the 3 steps are the right child, the right node of that, I mean the right pointer value will be replaced by with the leftmost node. H will be replaced with the original position of H. Then the leftmost node of L will be pushed into the uh, tree. So this will create like this. This node, by deleting G, it will create the value like this. Okay, uh, G will be deleted. G should be replaced by the value of H, but K will be pushed down, L will be pushed up. By deleting G, ideally the rightmost node left child should replace. G and H will replace first. H will come as a parent node, but I will be left alone. In order to bring a balance, the rightmost child again is having more than m by 2 minus 1 values. So we will push L into the parent node, K into the left child. This is the case of similar to uh, this value, this case. When we are removing a one, right? Yeah, when we are removing a value, we are pushing, yeah, like this. We are pushing W into its parent node and V into its child node. We did the here, right? When a node is having only one node and the right sibling having 3 nodes, we will push the leftmost node to the parent and the node V to the left child of, it's a move left. So deleting G will make this node, sorry, this case 2. Deleting G will make it should be replaced with H. H will go to the root. This node will be left alone. I will be left alone. L will be pushed to the top. K will be pushed down. Okay, so now the root node will become C H L. Here the child will be Ki, here Mn. Is it make sense how it happened? I repeat the case to pay attention one more time. When you are removing a node which is a non-leaf node, okay, deletion of R, in this case deletion of R will make the right subtree leftmost child as its parent. It will be replaced. Okay, S will be replaced here. Is this clear? The first step is clear.
Yes, sir.
Now the second step, suppose if G is deleted. If G is deleted, the right subtree leftmost node will be replaced. So that will be H only, na? So G will be replaced by H. The same logic what we are applying here, we are applying here. So G, suppose let us say that G you want to delete. When you want to deleting G, it will be replaced by right subtree leftmost node. H will come into the root. When H comes to the root, I will be the only node here. The right sibling has more than m by 2 minus 1 values. This is having 1 value. This is having 3 values. This is creating some imbalance. So we will break this node. By breaking, what we will do is, when we are breaking this leftmost node, L will become the root node, K will become its child node. So L will go to the root node, K will become its child node. Okay, the tree will look like this. CHL, AB, DEF, KIMN. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
And deleting an root node. If you want to delete a root node O, then it will create a lot of tricky part. After G, you are deleting a root node. Then we will make a right rotation by making L into the right root node. Initially, this node should be replaced with the right subtree of leftmost node. Okay, when you are deleting O, when you want to delete the O, right subtree leftmost node is P. Correct. This node will be replaced initially by P. O is deleted. P will be replaced with root. That is the first step. Right subtree leftmost node will be replaced. So when you're deleting O, the right subtree P value is replaced with O. When you are doing that, Q will be the only one node. When Q is the only one node, it is creating some imbalance. So we will try to club this 4 nodes. Okay, so then this will look like this. P will go to the root node. V will be left alone. Yes, QTU. This will QSTU will become one node. Then again, this is creating some imbalance because this is only one node, but the sibling on the left child is having 3 nodes. It is creating some imbalance. So L will become root node, P will become its child node. Okay, so L will become its root node, CH will be 2 nodes, PV will be 2 nodes. Then all the nodes is having more than m by 2 minus 1 values. If I have a board, pen and paper, these things would have been more clear. But I repeat again for your understanding, pay attention. Deleting a non-leaf node may contain possible 3 cases. One is when you are deleting a node, you take right sibling, right subtree, leftmost node. You replace a node with right subtree, leftmost node. When R is deleted, S will be replaced with this case. So T and U, W, X, Y, Z, there is no problem. This will be sufficient, and the neighbor sibling nodes is also having more than m by 2 minus 1 values. There is no problem here. Okay, this is number 1. When you are deleting a node G, this node will be replaced by G will be replaced by the right subtree the right subtree leftmost node, that is the value of H. H will be replaced with G. When you are doing that, I will be left only one node, which is the right sibling contains 3 nodes. This is creating some imbalance. So when we are creating an imbalance, L will be pushed to the root node, K will be pushed down to the child node. L will be pushed to the parent node, K will be pushed down. So L will become root node, K will become its child node. So the tree will look like CH, this CHL, KIMN. This is the second case. The third case is when you're deleting the root node, when you're deleting, you should replace this node with the right subtree leftmost node with P. Okay, P is the right subtree leftmost node. P will be replaced with O. When you're replacing that, Q will be left alone. So you are making a combined value QSTU, because this is the only node. You are combining it's all the values. When you do that, again CHL is having 3 nodes, V will be having only 1 node, like this. QSTU may 4 nodes, but V will be having only 1 node, but here the right sibling is again having 3 nodes. Then you again do the combining by making L into the root node, L will become its root node, P will become the right. You are doing a right shift in order to bring the balance. Now L will be your root node, CH, PV will become the children's. The idea is when you're deleting a non-leaf node, it will create some imbalance. Those imbalances, we have to make it properly as per the case 1. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do one reverse process. This is your root tree. Insert O. Where you will insert O?
Sir, after L.
After you will insert O here, O will be inserted OPV, right?
Yes, sir.
When you are inserting here, this is creating some imbalance
Yes, sir.
because
So because M and O,
M and N is becoming the right child. This is supposed to be the left child. When L become the root, this we change it to Mn. L become the root node here. So this right subtree Mn is inserted into uh, left subtree, left child of right subtree. Because see, the L link is connected to the right subtree. L will become the root node. You cannot simply make it H because M and N are greater than L. It should be always the right side. So this will be change the location towards the left child. That's why here Mn is considered as the left child. When you're inserting O, again this will become an imbalance. You do the reverse procedure, you will get somewhat the tree like this. Okay, you will break this, you will break this tree, then it will create a lot of confusion. Okay, so I'll show you one thing. This may be a little bit clear when you studied the binary search tree, how we deleted. Uh, that's why I asked you to uh, attend this BST. If you attended binary search tree, these things will be better. Okay. Now see, let us understand this BST, predecessor, successor. Let us try to understand this example. Deleting an element from the binary search tree. Suppose you want to delete an element 50, the root node. What you will do here is you will replace with in order successor. What is in order successor? So the predecessor and successor is like this. If there is an element X, the X, if you want to delete, if X has 2 children, then in order procedure is the maximum element of the left subtree. Okay, in order predecessor is the maximum element of the left subtree. In order successor is the minimum element of the right subtree. So if this is the X, the maximum value in the left subtree we call that as a predecessor. The minimum value in the right subtree we call that as a successor. When you are deleting a root node 50, we can replace with in order successor. In order successor is, or you can replace with in order successor or in order predecessor. Now when you're deleting 50, the minimum value in the right subtree is 52. 52 is replaced, both these values are replaced. Okay, after this node will be deleted. But once this node is deleted, we have to re-change the BST, binary search tree property is held. All the values are less than 52 on the left subtree. All the values are greater than on the right subtree. This is correct. Now, is this correct? This is correct only, right? So 75, 60, 70 are greater than 52. 25, 6, 30 are less than 52. This is correct. Now, this is a binary search tree property how an element is deleted by replacing an order with in order successor, that is the right subtree minimum element. Right subtree minimum element. Okay. Once this is done, then we are trying to bring it to the balance. Now, likewise, in AVL tree, when you are deleting a node, you have four rotations that we studied. The height is imbalanced. We have to make some rotations. The same property we are applying in B trees when we are making deleting a node. When it creates an imbalance, we are doing some left operations and right operations in order to preserve the properties of a B tree. As simple as that. Okay. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
You shall I repeat this? You want me to repeat this? How many of you want me to repeat the step? Case 2. When we are deleting R, we did the same thing. Right subtree, leftmost value we replaced with that value. See the right, when you're deleting R, rightmost subtree, left minimum value is yes, we replaced with that node. If by replacing, it is not creating any imbalance here. All the keys are is having more than m by 2 minus 1 values. For node, m by 2 minus 1, 2, 2, it's correct. But here when you're deleting, this node will become only isolated one node. This will become 3. So what we did, we pushed the node to the root, k we pushed down. So initially, g will be replaced by h, L will push to root node, K will be pushed down. So the node will become CHL KIMN. By deleting the root, you have to replace with the leftmost in order successor. That is, P value will be replaced with O. Then Q will be left alone. So the right sibling is also having the say only two values. So we will club it. This will become QSTV. When you are clubbing it, V is having only one node. Again, this is creating some imbalance. So L you will push to the root node. Okay, by like this. L you will push to the root node. When L is moving to the root node, this Mn will be linked to the left subtree of right node. Left link of right subtree. Okay. So L will be gone to the root, P will be pushed down, P left will become Mn. P left will become Mn. So this will be your balanced B tree. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will take break 5 minutes. If you have any doubts, you please ask. B tree deletion, you will understand only if you know how to deletion happens in binary search tree and AVL tree. That class you skipped, so it was difficult for to understand. But anyway, you go through the slides again. If you not understand, I will discuss you again one more time in the next class with some other example. Not with the same example, we'll discuss with some other example. So let's take 5-10 minutes break. Now it's 3:55. Let's get back at 4:05. We'll continue our class. We'll discuss now other data structure. We finished with trees. We will discuss some other data structure called graph.
Okay, sir.
Okay, shall we get back?
Yes, sir.
Please check the chat box. I have sent a question.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Your question is, sir, if we add O here, what will be the problem?
Yes, sir. When you said re-adding O, then why do we have to disturb all the other elements? We could just add O there.
Oh, you can add O there. There is no problem. You will do like that only. Now you compare with L is greater than or equal to O. You will come here. You will see that P O is less than P or greater than P. You will come towards the left. You will insert at the appropriate position.
Yes.
That is not nothing wrong in that. But where the problem comes is when you count the number of children towards the left child and the right child, then you have to make sure that tree is balanced. Okay.
That is balanced also.
Yeah, this is balanced. And if the tree is balanced, then again it will burst into new node. It will keep popping up and making the nodes into the new. That you take care. The insertion is clear. Only deletion is creating a little bit confusion. But don't worry, that will be clear once you study that.
Okay.
There is nothing wrong in inserting here. See, I told you one thing. I will show you again. Data structures, operating systems, files. This B tree, right? I already uploaded the slide in your tree, in your Teams. I'll just show one point to you. You see this point? Read this. Abhi now posted the question. Who asked this question? Who? Harush.
Ambarish Yadav.
Yeah. Okay. Read this point.
Ambarish Yadav.
Ambrish, read this point. What is this point? Where I am showing the mouse pointer.
Yes, sir. It's
For the
the
same
answer.
set of data, insertion in order may result in different B tree. For example, I showed that when you are creating a node, when you are inserting where I showed the node. Okay. See this 70 value you could have inserted here also. This 70 node, when you are busting it, you could make the right node and insert it in N6. That is correct only. You inserted the author of this book inserted at the right side, but still this is also correct. If you would have inserted here, your tree would be different. This node N7 would not be required. Okay. See this example. Can 70 can be inserted at the right child of 60?
Yes, sir, it can.
It can be inserted, no?
Mm.
So that would have resulted in a different tree. So for the same set of data, you can have different order may result in different B tree. Likewise, when you're deleting also, the same principle applies. If it is applying the insertion, how you are inserting may result in different B tree. Deletion will also create some different orders. However, we are trying to preserve the properties of this properties of B tree. Okay, so all M-way search trees should be less than order of degree less than m less than or equal to m. The node contain the attributes, and ki should be less than ki plus 1, and the subtrees, these properties if you hold, if you are constructing or deleting some trees, then that's okay. As long as you kept that, that's not a problem. Is that clear? Shall we go to graphs? Amrish Yadav, is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Let us now discuss the data structure graph. This is the last data structure we will discuss. After that, we will resume our discussion on operating systems. Usually, we'll see the applications of graph at various places. One is like airlines, like if our map, Google Map, airlines, you see any map, each location or a source or a destination, we can see that as a vertices, and the travel you are making from one place to other place as an edge. For example, you want to go to Chennai to Delhi or Bangalore to Allahabad, you can see that whether the node edge exists or not. This V is one way of seeing a two-dimensional data in terms of graph. Correct? Okay, all your Google Maps or any travel you want to make, the way you are looking a source and destination will tell you those are vertices, and the connection where you are traveling from other location will make you the edge. Likewise, when you are doing transferring a data packet, see, I'm sharing some data in my computer sitting at MNIT, but you are sitting at your own respective places. The data is transferred in between. This is connected to my LAN. The LAN is connected to our college computer center. From there, it is connected to internet service provider. And same way on your hand, the internet service provider is providing you some data. You are able to see what I'm projecting here. In between, the routers, the web links, the various ways how the data is transmitted also, you can see that as a graph. Okay. And the flow chart, you can see that as a graph. This is Coinberg's principle. This is also you can see as a graph. This is an interesting problem. This problem is the city is divided between rivers. So A is a land, B is a land, C is a land, D is a land. Okay. The river, the city, 5 places, A, B, C, D, 4 places are divided by 2 rivers, and the connection between these lands contains 7 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bridges. Now, the problem is, if a person is traveling from one land, starting from one position, one land, after taking all the bridges, will be able to reach to the same location, same land, is a problem. Can you try that? Suppose person A is starting from A, let us assume he will take place this bridge, go to C and come back. No, he should come back at the end only. So he goes to D and go to D, then come to B. He is reaching A, but he is not covering all the bridges. He has to cover all the bridges, exactly visiting once, visiting all the 4 lands, reaching back to where he started. So it's an interesting problem, but anyway, those problems you can consider them as a graph. So from C to D, there is a bridge. C to D there is a bridge. C to A to C there is again an edge. A to B and B to A again there is one more bridge. B to D there is a bridge. A to D is also there is a bridge. So there is an edge. This same graph you can show as a vertices and edges, and you can solve the problem. Okay, anyway. So these are the few examples of graphs. So graph is a very important nonlinear data structure. It is used everywhere in the real world. Even in your circuits, when you're inserting and when you're designing a circuit, placing in a component and making a connection from one component to other component, we use graph. In highway network, flight network, transportation networks, we will use graph. The source and destination, we will consider them as vertices, and the uh, transportation or a travel, that will consider as an edge, or a computer networks like how we are discussed now, internet, web, local area network, all this will work as a graph. We can represent as a graph. And database, when you're storing some element like relationship between the database, can also be represented. We call that as an ER diagrams, entity relationship diagrams. There also we will use graphs. It is a extended complicated version of flowchart. Okay, how we are representing a flowchart. So this is, you are representing this one vertex transferring from another vertex. So you are making a decision yes or no, and you are keep going, right? So this is one way of seeing that as a graph. Anyway, so let us come to a definition. So graph G consists of two sets. One, a set of vertices or nodes. The second is set of E, which is called as an edges or arcs. For example, in this graph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we call them as a vertices, and edge exists between 1 to 2, there is an edge. 2 to 3, there is an edge. 3 to 4, there is an edge. 4 to 5, there is an edge. 5 to 1, there is an edge. 2 to 5, there is an edge. Then 4 to 2, there is an edge. So these are the edges that exist. 4 to 1, there is no edge. There is no edge between 4 to 1, which is not mentioned. So you will represent a graph in terms of vertices and edges, and this will be applicable at many applications. Is this clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so graph, we have different graphs. We can call that as a directed graph or a digraph. In this graph, it is a normal graph. It is no undirected graph. There is no directions. So which means one can go to 2 or 2 can go to 1, which is not mentioned clearly. But in directed graph or a digraph, there will be arrows. So S can go to V, but V cannot come to S. Okay, S can go to V, but V, if it has to come to S, it should go to W. From W, it should come to S. It cannot go directly to. If there is an edge exists, it's an directional edge. So the data flow or the traffic flow will happen in only one direction. There will be some routes one way, so only one way it should go. The reverse, you cannot go in the same direction. You have to follow some other path. When there are some directions between each vertices, we call that as a directed graph or a digraph. Also, you will come across some nodes where some edges will have some weight. So if you have to travel from this node to this node, it may take 3 kilometers, or from this node to this node, it may take 5 kilometers. From this node to E node, it may take 2 kilometers. We are representing an actual geographical location in terms of a graph. And if you want to specify the parameters from what is the distance from one node to other node, you can mention in terms of weight. That will give us some idea the distance of the location and so on and so forth. When there is a weight on the edge, we call that as a weighted graph. Okay, this is weight. Okay, for each edge we assign some weight. This is an acyclic graph. Acyclic graph is a graph which it doesn't have cycles. You don't find cycles, then it's an acyclic graph. This is the cycle graph. See, 5 to 11, 11 to 5, there is a cycle exists. So this is a cyclic graph. Acyclic graph where there is no cycle. You come to A to B, you can't go the reverse direction. B to C, C to E, but E to B you cannot go. E to D also you cannot go. D to B also you cannot go. It is one direction. There is no cycle here. When there is no cycle in a graph, we call that as an acyclic graph. These are different variants of graph. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So this acyclic graph, we will use the concept in deadlock when the deadlock happens in operating system. That's why I'm mentioning clearly here. Okay. So when there is no cycle in a graph, we call that as an acyclic graph. Okay, let us go forward. So you can represent a graph in two ways. One is in matrix, other one is in linked list. Okay. So we can call that as a collection of adjacency lists or adjacency matrix. Adjacency list is a linked list. Adjacency matrix is a matrix representation. It's an array representation. You cannot represent a graph in one-dimension array. You need 2 dimensions. Okay. So this is a simple undirected graph. Now we are representing in a linked list. So the node 1, it has 2 links, which is linked to 2, then 1 is linked also to 5. So you are representing node 1 is having the links 2 and 5. Node 2 is having link 1, 5, 4, 3. So 1, 5, 3, 4. This order could be in any way, that still will make an edge. Okay. So 3 is having 2 and 4. Those are the link. You are assigning the addresses from one node to other node, which will help you to understand there is an edge or not. So likewise, 4 to 3 there is an edge, 4 to 2 there is an edge, 4 to 5 there is an edge, and node 5, 5 to 1, 5 to 2, 5 to 4. So there are edges. So you'll link node 1 to node 2, node 2 to node 5 using pointers and storing the addresses. This is called adjacency list representation. The other representation is matrix representation in 2 dimension. You have number of nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 rows and 5 columns. If there is an edge exists between one node to the other node, you simply put 1. If there is no edge exists between the node, then you put 0. From 1 to 1, there is no edge, there is no self loop, so you put 0. 1 to 2, there is an edge, you put 1. 1 to 3, there is no direct edge, so you put 0. 1 to 4 also there is no direct edge, you put 0. 1 to 5, there is an edge, you put 1. From 2 to 1, there is an edge, you put 1. 2 to 2, there is no self loop, so put 0. 2 to 3, yes, there is an edge. 2 to 4, there is an edge. 2 to 5, there is an edge. Likewise, 3 to 1, there is no direct edge, you put 0. 3 to 2, there is an edge, put 1. 3 to 3, there is no self loop, put 0. 3 to 4, there is an edge, 1. 3 to 5, there is no edge, put 0. Likewise, 4 and 5. When you make a matrix like this, we call that as an adjacency matrix representation. Is this clear?
Sir, what do 1 and 0 represent in this matrix?
1 represents there is an edge, 0 represents there is no edge.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, when we represent it as a collection of adjacency list, then what does the arrow represent? Like 3 to 2, then 2 to 4.
This values.
Yes, sir. What is this arrow?
The arrow is a pointer. You are storing in a linked list. These are linked lists.
Oh,
Linked list addresses, pointers you are storing.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The slash is null. Null pointer. There is no node after that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Any other doubts? Okay. So this, see, there is a directed graph now. So we are representing 1 to 2, there is an edge. So we put 1 to 2, then 1 to 4. 1 to 4, there is an edge. So 5 to any other directions, 5 to 4, there is only one edge. From 2 to 5, there is only one edge. 3 to 5, 3 to 6, there are two edges. 4 to 2, there is one edge. 5 to 4, there is one edge. 6 to 6, there is self loop, so it will point to itself. So when you are presenting the same in adjacency matrix, you need 6 cross 6 matrix. You are representing, so 6 node 6, it is a self loop, there is one. The representation you are making in linked list or matrix, it depends on adjacency matrix and adjacency lists. And if there is a directed graph, then you cannot put in reverse direction. 2 is pointing only to 5, so 2 will have the edges to 5 only. One edge is going to 2 and 4, so one node will have 2 and 4. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you want to compare the list of edges, suppose there is an E edges, then if there is an edge between V and W, okay, this I'll get back after the value. Simply is like how much space it will take. How many adjacency matrix? Suppose you have say 6 vertices. How much space it will take here? You have 6 vertices.
N square.
No. If 6 vertices, okay, n square means you have 6 vertices, it will take 6 cross 6 matrix.
yes, sir.
36. How many links are taking here? If this is the case, how many links are taking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many edges are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Correct? Count here. The number of nodes are 5. How many edges are here? So that's what is written here. The list of edges it will take, if it is E, then the adjacency matrix will take V square of space. You need, if there are 6 elements, then you need 6 cross 6 matrix. Okay. And you need an adjacency list. You need number of edges plus vertices. So you have 6 vertices. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus number of edges. Your edges is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 6 vertices. 3 plus V wedges space will take. If you want to check between, there is an edge between vertex V and W. If there are E edges, then adjacency matrix will take only order of 1. You have to check that value if it is 0 or 1. If there is a 1, then there is an edge. If 0, there is no edge. It won't take time. But in degree in adjacency list, you have to take order of V. You have to check till the end of the list whether to verify the link the element is having edges there or not. You have to go up to the number of elements. Worst case, if an edge contain, if a vertex contain edge to all the vertexes, then you need to traverse all the vertexes. So the degree will be V. Iteration over edges incident to V, it is there or not, is also, you ignore this. Okay, you understood this? The space and the edge.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll discuss the operations, then we'll stop. There are important operations are traversal, insertion, and deletion. But the traversal, how we are visiting the each vertex in a graph is very important. Important operation is traversal. Insertion, deletion, you can ignore it. You can insert a node by creating an edge. Then you create another row where are the edges goes in a matrix representation or a linked list representation. Insertion or deleting a node, you remove. If it is an adjacency matrix, you skip, you remove that row or column, shift the elements. If it is a linked list, you rechange the pointer. Insertion deletion is not a big deal. But traversal is a new concept. We will try to understand the traversal, which is a very important operation in graphs. So we have two ways we can traverse the graph. One is depth first search and breadth first search traversal. So we'll try to understand what is depth first search traversal. So depth first search traversal uses stack. The concept of stack. Breadth first search traversal uses queue. Okay, so we will see one example. So let us, this is the graph and you want to visit all the nodes. How the depth first search will visit is, so let us start with 0. So this node is visited, so you put in a visited array. Then the nodes which are its name, which are its link to those nodes, you push them into the stack. Okay, you push them into the stack. So 0 is having 3 is pushed. It's having 2, then 2 is pushed, or 1 is pushed. Okay, 1 2 3, 3 values are pushed into the stack. Okay, is this clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Now the next element you will visit is based on the stack. You pop the top on the stack, you visit that element. Which is the top? Let us assume that 1 is the top. Okay, if 1 is the top, then the node 1 you visited, then you push the elements again, the nodes which are its edges, the nodes which contain its edges. 1 is having edge 2, so 2 is already here. There is nothing to add. 1 is having 0 and 2. So 0 you already visited, you marked it. The another node 2, which is already there in the stack. So you finished with 1. Then the next node you will visit is in the stack, top. Okay, this is the top. So visit the node 2. After visiting node 2, the next element edge is containing is 4. You push this element into the stack. So 4 will be pushed. Okay, on the top. 4 will be placed on the top. Okay, up to this point is clear?
Yes, sir.
Whenever you are visiting a node, the node edges you will push them into the stack, and the node what you are visiting you will write in a visited array. Now first you visited 0, 1 2 3, you pushed into the stack. Next you visited on the top of the stack, which is 1 you visited, 2 is already there, 0 is already visited, so you no need to put. So you visited 1, next node you will visit is top of the stack, that is 2 is having edge 4 you pushed into the stack, you visited 2. Next node what you will visit? Next node, which one you will visit? 4, correct? 4 is the top of the stack. So you visit 4, then there are no elements to visit. Then what is the top of the stack? Again 3. So visit 3. So there are no elements to push. So your stack is empty. So you visited all the nodes. So when you are visiting this graph 0, 1, 2, 4, 3, in this fashion, we call that as a depth first search. We use the data structure stack in order to carry out the depth first search. Is this clear? So this is a simple pseudocode. You get a new stack. Initially, the code is empty. Then you keep pushing the node when the node which you are visiting. Pop that element which is not been visited. If visited is true, then visit the next node. If it is not visited, then push them into the stack. A simple pseudocode. we will look one more example. Suppose this is the graph. You want to do the depth first search. Let us start with 0. 0 is the first element you are visiting. So what are the nodes you will push into the stack? So let us say that pushed is green color and visited is shaded pink color. Okay, shaded pink color. Now 0 is the first node you visited. Now what are the elements that will go into the stack? 1, 3, 8, correct?
Yes, sir.
So 1, 3, 8, it will go. 8, 3, 1 will be stored into the stack. Those nodes are pushed into the stack. So the next node you will visit is top. Top will be visited after 0. 1 will be visited. That node will be visited. After 1 is visited, the elements will be pushed into the stack is 7. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So 7 is pushed into the stack. Okay. Now after this, which node will be visited? 7 only. So 7 is visited. Then the element pushed into the stack is 2. Correct? 7 is having edge on 2
Yes.
only. 7 is having edge on 2 only. So 2 will be pushed into the stack. So the node will be 2 only. So 2 you will visit. After visiting 2, you need to push 3 and 5. But 3 is already there in the stack. So you will push 5. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So 3 you visited 2 times. Here after 2 you visit 5 and 3. 3 is already there. Either you can visit 3 or you can visit 5, because 3 came again here. So if you choose to go to 3, 3 will be visited. Then what is the next element that will be visited if you choose 3?
4.
So 4 will be visited here. So what is the next node? 4 is having 8. 8 is already there in the stack. Okay, 8 is also marked as a pink color, which is already there, visited. Now what will happen? What is the next node? 8. 8 is visited. So after 4, 8 is visited. The next node, it will be removed. 8 will be removed from the stack. Then what is the next node?
5.
5. It will visit 5. After visiting 5, the next node will be 6 will be pushed into the stack. Okay. 6 will be pushed into the stack. So the top of the which node will be visited now? 6. 6 will be printed. Now 3 and 8 is already visited. We marked them as a pink color. So it's already visited. Now the traversal is done. So using a stack, when you're making a traversal, that we call that as a depth first search. Is this clear? Okay.
Yes,
So the
sir.
traversal is, you start with 0, you go to 1, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, then 5, 6. So you are traversing all the nodes. Okay. So this is called depth first search. So this is the order. Okay. You visited all the nodes. Okay. The time complexity is you have to visit all the vertex and all the edges. The complexity will be order of vertex plus edges if you use adjacency list for the representing graphs. So, and if you are using adjacency matrix, then it will be order of v square. You have to make sure that every time to visit all the links, so that will be order of v square complexity. So this depth first search few applications are solving a puzzles as a maze. You go to a maze and you want to go and find whether the path is there or not. You apply usually depth first search, finding the connected components or topological sorting. All these applications will use depth first search. So there is a breadth first search.
So, can I ask one question about depth first search?
Yes.
So, in that, in this slides, what we did was like first we visited 0, and then we pushed all the neighboring or adjacent nodes in the stack, and
Yes.
all the order of the traversal was dependent upon that. Like one was on the top.
Yes.
But if we wouldn't have done that, and we would have pushed 8 on the top, then the traversal would have been a different one.
Yes.
So how do we decide that?
Both are correct. See,
Both
depends
are,
on how the both are. See, there is no direction. If there is a direction, or there is not one way to visit depth first search. Depends on how you are visiting. From zero, you pushed first 8, 3, 1. In this fashion, you pushed. But
yes, sir.
there is no thumb rule that why I should push 8. I can push 1, 3, 8 also. Then 8 will be your top.
And in that case
Then
also
from
the complexity will not change, like v
No, it
plus
will
e.
not change. Still, from 8 you will visit 4.
Hmm.
From 4 you will visit 3. From
Yes,
3
sir.
again you will come to 0, and 0 you already visited. From 3 you will go to 2. From 2 you will go to push 7 and 5. If you want to go to 7, then you will come back. That is also correct. Depends on how we are pushing the elements, you may get different traversals.
One more question, sir. Like you told that complexity will be v plus e. So is there any explanation, sir?
You are visiting all the vertices and all the edges.
Yes, sir.
So what is the complexity?
So like at every node we are visiting, where like it can be once or twice maximum.
You
So
are
I'm not
visiting
able
all
to
the
not able to understand that.
See, okay, fine. This is worst case complexity. Imagine you have what you have two graphs, okay, two nodes in a graph. You are doing a depth first search. What is the time complexity in this case?
It will be like 2 nodes are there and 1 edges. So
You are visiting, right?
yes, sir.
Suppose you are getting you have got one more node which is connected here.
Hmm.
Now, how many edges, how many vertices you will verify?
There are 3 vertices and 3 edges now.
You have to verify all of them, right?
Yes, sir.
Your complexity is order of V and order of E only, now.
Hmm.
Number of vertices plus number of edges.
Okay, sir. I got it.
Okay, but this representation, when you are making as a linker list, I told you that you are representing this graph in terms of linker list or matrix. It depends on how you are implementing your graph.
Yes, sir.
So if you are implementing this graph in linker list, then you are making all the vertex and all the edges,
Hmm.
and you are visiting all of them.
Yes, sir.
Then in that case, the complexity will be order of vertices plus order of edges, worst case.
Hmm.
When you are making a matrix, you are making a two-dimensional matrix.
V
So
square.
when your nodes is v square, so that's what I have done. So worst case, when you are making a matrix, the complexity will be, if it is an adjacency matrix, then it gives order of v square. If it is
Yes.
adjacency list, then it will be order of v plus c. Because you have to visit every node. Is that okay? Shall we go ahead? Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me continue and we will stop. What is the time? We have 10 more minutes. We'll finish this. Okay. So breadth first search, we will visit by placing a queue. We will use the queue data structure using front and rear. We will visit the queue data structure. Then we will visit the nodes in breadth first search. So let us again start the same example. 0, we will consider that as a node 1. We uh, inserted the elements into the queue 1 2 3 because this node is having edges 1 2 3. So this is the front node. Which node you will the order where you are placing it depends on that again. Suppose 1 is the first node, you are visiting the node 1, then you are visiting the node 1, then the element 2 is already there in the queue, so you no need to push that. So you visited node 1, then you go to node 2. After node 2, 4 will be inserted at the rear. Okay, 4 will be inserted at the rear, but 2 will be visited. The edge which is having visiting node will be inserted at the rear only. When you are visiting 2, 4 will be inserted at the rear. The next node you will visit is 3 here. The front node is the node which you will visit. So the 3 after 2, 3 will you will visit. 3 has no edges. So after that 4 will you will visit. So when you are making a breadth first search, the elements traversal is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you are making a depth first search, the order of traversal is 0, 1, 2, 4, 3. Correct? 0, 1, 2, 4, 3. This is not the same as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you are doing a depth first search, you are using a stack. When you are using a breadth first search, your traversal is slightly different. Again, this traversal depends on how we are storing the elements in the queue. You chose that to insert 1, 2, 3 in the beginning, but if you chose you can insert 3, 2, 1, then this order could be in 0, 3 and so on and so forth, in that order only. But you are visiting the 4 will be coming all after 3. When you are using a data structure queue, you are doing the breadth first search. Is this clear? This is a simple pseudocode. You will add the element into a queue which is not visited initially and insert the elements into the queue. The queue is not empty. Then delete the first element, front element. If it is not visited, visit it, and mark the edge, every edge which is not visited, insert into the queue. You keep running this loop until the queue becomes empty. Let us discuss the same example that we discussed in the previous class. So in this case, the same example that we discussed in the previous example, we will use a queue data structure. Let us start with 0. The elements you are visiting 0, the elements your neighbors is 8, 3, 1. You are pushing that elements into the queue 8, 3, 1. So the front element is 1. Sorry. Yeah, so the front element is 1, rear is at 8. So you visited 1, 3, 8. Okay. So the next node you will visit is the front. The front is 1. You are visiting 1. You are marking that as a red. So 1 after 1, the next node 7 will be inserted after 8 only. Whatever the nodes you are visiting, those edges you will insert after the existing nodes. Next node you will visit is 3. Then the edges that are containing 2 and 4 you will insert after 7. 2 and 4 will be inserted after 7 only. Okay. The next node you will visit is 8. 8 is having all the nodes which are already inserted. So 8 will be taken out. You see the order of traversal. First you visited 0, you push the tag 138, then you visited 1, 0, 1, then the node which is having link to 1, you pushed at the rear end. Sorry, you inserted at the rear end, and you visited node 1. So 0, 1 traversal is done. Then the next front is 3. You will visit 0, 1, 3. Then you will insert 4 and 2 elements at the back. 2 and 4 are inserted at the back. Next element you will visit is 8. So 0, 1, 3, 8. After visiting 8, you will see the nodes which need to be inserted in the queue. There are no elements. Next element you will visit is 7. After 7, again 2 is there. So 2 is already in the queue. So you will visit after 8, 7. After 7, you will visit 2. After 2, 5 will be inserted in the queue. Okay, 5 is inserted in the queue. Next element you will visit is 4, which is on the front. And after visiting 4, there are no nodes. So you will go to the node 5. You will go to the node 5. After visiting 5, 6 will be inserted in the queue, and you will visit the 6. So the order of traversal when you do the breadth first search is 0, 1, 3, 8, 7, 2, 4, 5, 6. This is different than depth first search. Is this clear? When you are using a data structure queue, we can use breadth first search. When you are using a data structure stack, you will use depth first search. How you are visiting each node in a different way, it all depends on the data structure behind your using. Is this clear? Repeat this. Okay. Initially you have 0 element. You inserted 1, 3, 8 into the queue. So you visited 0. 1, 3, 8 is inserted in the queue. 1, 3, 8 is inserted into the queue. Next element you will insert at the after 8. Element you will visit is in the front of the queue. So 1 you visited, 1 as having the edge 7. 7 where you will insert? After 8. In depth first search you inserted on the top, but in breadth first search you will insert after 8. Okay. After 8 you inserted. This is the queue. This is the front. This is the rear. Okay. So the next element you will visit is the front of the queue, that is 3. So the 3 node, if you observe, there is a node 4. You will insert after 7. There is a node 2 and 4. 2 and 4 will be inserted after 7. 2 and 4 will be inserted after 7. So visited 3. Then you will visit the element 8. 8 you visited. 8 nodes 0, 3, 4, which is already there. 0, 3, 4 is already in the queue, or you visited. So no issues. So visit 8. After the next element in the queue is 7. You visit 7. 7 next node is 2, which is already there in the queue. So you visit 7. The next element in the queue is 2. You visit 2. Then the 2 is having edge 5, which is unvisited. You insert this 5 into the queue. After 2, the next element in the queue is 4. 4 you visited. After 4, there are no edges that are unvisited, which is linked to 4. Then the next element you will visit is 5. 5 you visited. Then 5, there is one unvisited node 6. You will insert into the queue, and then you visit that. There are no rest of the elements to visit. So this is your breadth first search traversal. The complexity is same here also. In breadth first search also, you will visit all the vertices and all the edges. If you are representing in adjacency list, if you are representing in matrix, it will be V square. This will be the applications of breadth first search for connected components in a graph, or for all the nodes within one connected component, shortest path between two nodes, testing a graph whether there is a bipartite or not. All these applications will be applicable for the breadth first search. Is this clear? How we are traversing a graph?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we will stop here. I'll upload this slide into your Teams. Go through the slides again. If you have any doubts, we'll discuss in the next class. So we will, if there are no doubts, then this is the end of data structures. Next class onwards, we will discuss operating systems. Since data structures is finished, unless you don't have any questions, which I'll give you one more class on Tuesday. If you have any doubts in any data structure, you can feel free to ask. We will discuss it again. If there are no questions, we will straight away go to the operating systems. Also, as per your academic calendar, next week will be midsem break examination. So we will take midsem break. Midsem means the quizzes we will conduct at least 2 or 3 quizzes. I will conduct in next week, next 1 week, 2 weeks. I will inform you in advance. You will be required to attend the quiz for your internal marks. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Can you able to see the slide? Lecture 17 graphs.
No, sir.
Check again.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
So go through the slides. If you have any questions, we will give one more class to discuss that. We will clear that and we will go to the operating systems. Any doubts you want me to ask in today's class?
No, sir.
Okay, so we will stop here. We will continue from next Tuesday. Even those Tuesday class, because it's happening online, instead of repeating 2 times, is it possible to club as a one class?
Hmm. So, on what? So, on what time do you wish to take that class?
Depends on your timetable and availability in the free timings only.
So, for ECB on Tuesday, only 11 to 12 slot is for there, and which you take, and there's no other slot.
Okay, so we'll continue like this. But if there is any slots available that I can club you like 1 hour class, please let me know.
Okay, sure, sir.